Hey, Naturally Curly World. I'm Evelyn, the social media manager here at naturallycurly.com, and we are here for another live stream, live chat. So welcome everybody. We have a live chat going on the YouTube video, and you can follow along with us as we live tweet from our Twitter account at naturallycurly, and we're using the hashtag Curl Talk for the discussion we are about to have, which is super important. It's hair, it's curly hair still, but it's the hair that we don't want. Okay, so I'm excited to chat with these two amazing women. Please introduce yourselves, starting with Dr. Henry.
Hi, I'm Dr. Henry. I am a board-certified dermatologist. I practice in Manhattan, New York, where about 60% of my patients are patients of color with kinky curly hair. And so this is a conversation I have every single day. Excited to be here.
Thank you for being here. And Cassidy from Bevel.
Yeah, my name is Cassidy Blackwell, and I lead brand marketing at Bevel, which is a shave system designed to help prevent razor bumps for those with coarse curly hair. A lot of times I'm talking with the gentlemen about shaving their face, so today I'm really excited to talk to the ladies about their issues of shaving coarse curly hair.
Awesome. Excited to chat with you all. You know, people say summer's over, but we're in Texas and it's still like 95 degrees. I don't know what the temperature is like where you're at, but shaving and keeping everything smooth, if that's what you do, is still something that's very important. And we're going to talk with Bevel and Dr. Henry about the best way to do that. All right, so let's start off with the basic question. Why is removing curly or coarse body hair different than other types of hair? Dr. Henry, take that one.
So coarse or curly hair, it's more difficult because the hair is more prone to bending and curling back into the skin. So if we cut the hairs improperly, they can bend into the skin, and when they re-enter the skin, it's almost like having a splinter. So that area becomes red, it becomes raised, so it becomes what we know classically as an ingrown hair. It's because we really can't, the curlier and the coilier the hair, the more pronounced kind of the arc, the angle of the curve. And so the coilier the hair, the more difficult it is, and the more important it is to shave appropriately so that we don't create an ingrown hair.
So it's like the hair on my head is not going to grow out of my anywhere straight.
Exactly. It will get progressively kinkier as we go down the body. So the body hair tends to be progressively kinkier and coilier, which makes it even more difficult to shave.
Interesting. Which brings me to my next question. Doesn't everyone tend to have curlier or coarser hair the further you get away from your head, or is that just a
I never say everyone, but most do. So most do. It does get coilier, and as we get closer to the hair below, it gets even kinkier there.
Right. So then, Cassidy, can you tell us more about how Bevel actually caters to curly and coarse hair, and how it addresses the problems that Dr. Henry talked about?
Absolutely. So right here I have our Bevel razor. This is what's called a double-edged safety razor. So you can see the top, which is the Bevel logo here, and what will happen inside, I don't have a blade in here right now, but just one single flat blade fits in here. So you know, like many ladies, you could be used to shaving with something that has 5, 6, 7, 19 blades. It's very different because it's just got that one single blade. So the reason that this helps to prevent razor bumps and ingrown hairs is instead of one blade cutting the hair at the top and then it keeps getting cut lower to the point where you're using 5 blades to cut beneath the skin, the single blade shaves right at the surface of the skin. So the hair that is curly coarse is free to grow more loosely without the razor bump potentially occurring.
Awesome. So then what are the techniques that one should use when using the Bevel razor or any razor? Is a nice shave more about the technique or the products or both?
I think definitely both. So the first of all, it is the single blade that really helps get that clean, smooth cut. At Bevel, we always say shave with the grain, which means the shave in the direction that your hair grows in. I think that there's a lot of education, or just like even in commercials, you see everybody going against the grain. So pulling up and doing all of these things that go against the grain, but really shave in the direction the hair grows, which helps to just keep that shave smoother and right against the skin. And then the other tip that I would say is don't pull the skin tight. Just let it be and let the weight of the razor. So the bevel razor, for example, it's a heavy weighted metal, which means that you don't have to press down and you don't have to pull the skin taut. So Dr. Henry, did you have any other tips?
Oh, I absolutely agree. What happens when you're shaving against the grain is that you're lifting those hairs and cutting them below the surface of the hair, below the surface of the skin. So when that happens, when that hair starts to grow and it starts to curl as it does, it may even transect the follicle, so grow into the skin deep. And that's when you get the really deep, painful ingrown hairs. So it's really important to go with the grain and kind of cut that hair right at the level of the skin. So that's very important.
That is the opposite of everything that I've seen in commercials, that I've learned, that I've been doing. So that is good to hear from professionals, and we can do it correctly.
Honestly, Evelyn, it changed my life learning that. It really changed my life because I did it wrong for years, and then it just like that one shift was a profound revolution.
Mm-hmm. So then, Cassidy, can you talk more about the products that accompany the razor and how they benefit the skin, especially when it comes to curly and coarse hair?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first step in the Bevel shave system is what is called priming oil. So it's an oil that you put on top of the skin that helps to soften the hair and the skin. It gives this really nice base layer, so you get a good glide for the razor as it goes over top of the skin. Then, of course, you have shave cream, which is the barrier that you have between the razor and the priming oil, but really helps to soften and nourish the skin. Ours has shea butter in it, which means it's got a lot of really nice slip. It's rich, it's thick, it gives a really good lather. And then finally, this is something that is new to the shaving process for me as a ladies, but guys use it all the time, which is an aftershave lotion. And the Bevel priming, this is called our restoring balm. Typical aftershave lotions have alcohol in them, so you would have an effect like the kid in Home Alone with, when you see your face. This does not do that. There's no alcohol in here. It's actually more of a moisturizer that has tea tree oil in it, so it really helps to soothe the skin without the sting following your shave.
Awesome. So then, Dr. Henry, what are some skin issues that you see arise because of improper shaving techniques? And double question, do these issues express themselves differently in different skin tones?
So I also kind of look back to a little bit of what Cassidy said. One of the kind of primary problems before we even get to ingrown hairs is razor burn, which is why I really like the shaving oil, because it creates a nice slick area that you're not getting that irritation. In brown skin or in darker skin, what I see is that razor burn also can cause hyperpigmentation. Ingrown hairs can cause hyperpigmentation. So this becomes a huge, not only kind of a painful, uncomfortable condition, but also not aesthetically pleasing condition. And so that's probably the biggest concern with dark skin, is that when we get the ingrown hairs, the hairs will grow out and the bumps will go away, but this hyperpigmentation will last for a long time. Something else I like about the Bevel kit is that the restoring balm also has some salicylic acid and some lactic acid in it. So what's great about that is that it doesn't only feel good because it's kind of moisturizing, but it's also preventing ingrown hairs. And that salicylic acid and lactic acid will help to lighten that hyperpigmentation just a touch. So it's calming, it's soothing, and it's a bit of a treatment. So it's a great addition to the kit.
Awesome. So then here's the question that everybody has. How should we use Bevel for our bikini area?
Go ahead.
So I get this question a lot too with a lot of ladies in the office, and I think what kind of makes them a little bit nervous about the kit, as Cassidy said, is we're not used to using kind of a weighted razor. But what's nice about it is that if you respect the weight and you don't apply a lot of pressure, it works beautifully. So I always tell my patients to respect the razor, respect the weight, take your time. This is not something you want to rush with. And as long as you're shaving with a grain, the technique is exactly the same. You know, the biggest kind of the learning curve for women is really just getting used to the blade, making sure you respect that 30-degree angle, so you're still using a nice 30-degree angle when you're shaving and not applying a lot of pressure, and things should go really smoothly.
Yeah, you know, for me, just learning how to use the razor on such a delicate area, it's about taking your time with it as well. And that's what's really cool about the Bevel Shave System. It's all about the process, the layering of the products, and really taking the time and the effort to do it right. And when you do that, you learn that you'll get the best shave of your life. Like, it is truly amazing. So that's my one tip, is to just take it slowly, as with all other new techniques.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about the product, and at naturallycurly.com, our readers and commenters are very DIY. So there is this trend among people that just using coconut oil or any sort of body oil is enough to shave with. Myth or not?
So that's a myth. It's nice to use an oil, like we said before, because it will provide a barrier. But what's really going to help your shave and to help you prevent ingrown hairs is using something that can lather and lift those hairs. So what the shaving cream does is it lifts those hairs. And in addition, it's hydrating. So what happens when we hydrate a hair is that it swells. And when it swells, it makes it easier to cut. You're just not going to get that with an oil alone. So it's really important to use something that's hydrating and moisturizing, and will create a little bit of a foam to help lift those hairs.
And I forgot to show you guys one of the other key parts of the Bevel Shave System, which is the badger brush. So when you whip a lather with this, it also works to do exactly what Dr. Henry says, which is to lift those hairs and really prepare them to shave. So, and this is what you use to apply the shave cream with after the priming oil.
Well, all right. So how much of the shaving cream do you recommend that we use?
So we suggest using a flat nickel-sized amount on top of the shave brush after letting the shave brush soak in warm water for about 20 seconds. And then you can just apply that directly to the skin using really fast circular motion.
Awesome.
If you're going for a larger surface area, just reapply and readjust as needed.
And something else, I have a lot of patients that are concerned and ask about oil versus a cream. They worry about the foam being so foamy that they really lose their precision. And what I like about the Bevel Kit is it's not so foamy. I feel like I've tried tons of them at this point. And so it's foamy enough to give you a nice lift, but not so much that you really can't really get clean angles. So
yeah. You can definitely see where you're going. So it is helpful.
Awesome. So let's see what else. I mean, I have lots of questions about how to shave coarse and curly hair, but it's usually founded in kind of this confusion. We don't really know what to do, and especially with Bevel, like you said, we're not used to the weighted razor. So what are some success stories, Cassidy, that you've heard from customers and about how they enjoy the product?
Yeah, you know, I just got an email from a woman last week, and she wrote to me talking about how she had had this ingrown hair in her armpit for 15 years, and it was this one just spot that she could never get rid of, and she worked with a dermatologist, and the dermatologist said the only way that she could get rid of this ingrown hair was to laser it away. But then she started shaving with Bevel, and lo and behold, she was able to get rid of that razor bump for that, again, she had for 15 years. So that is just one of those great experiences that you hear about a person learning about a new tool, new techniques, products that help them alleviate some of the issues that they've had for so long.
Awesome. That's really great. Dr. Henry, you did talk a little bit about reversing existing shaving problems, but can you talk more about to completely reverse those problems, if it's possible?
How to completely, it's breaking up a bit, how to completely reverse those problems?
Yeah, like when we have these issues like razor bumps, irritation, discoloration, is there anything we can do while still shaving to reverse those problems?
The first thing you can do is to make sure you're using the optimal technique. So preventing new spots, well, at least you won't chase your tail, you know, so you have to stop creating them. That's the first step. Something else I always recommend for my patients is you have to commit. So if you're going to shave, you have to shave. So you can't shave every 2 weeks. You have to do it, you know, every few days. And I know it's hard. It's hard for me. But once you decide to start that you're going to commit to this shaving life, you have to commit to it and really do it. And try to make sure that you're consistent. Make sure that you're using your products and just take good care of your skin. Moisturizing your skin, using the restoring balm, using your aftercare will help to slowly lighten that hyperpigmentation and reduce the inflammation that you've had for so long. So just sticking to a consistent regimen will help.
Couldn't agree more. Consistency is 100% key, for sure.
What we learned from YouTube, and it's kind of what we talked about, but they were a little more specific, so maybe we have some tips for them. They said, what can you recommend for legs if they have a slight scaly look from years of shaving against the grain? Dr. Henry?
So exfoliation is always key. So even using, like Cassidy said, the badger brush will help to exfoliate a bit. Maybe even exfoliating a bit between shaves. So if you're having that scaly appearance, exfoliating and whatever you can use that's anti-inflammatory will help to reduce that. And so using a good moisturizer, all of the Bevel ingredients have some level of anti-inflammatory agents in them. So there's lavender in the priming oil, there's the shea butter in the cream. So sticking to your regimen, exfoliating and moisturizing, that's going to be key.
Yeah, I would also say, again, the restoring balm is a really excellent moisturizer, so it will help to replenish the skin following your shave. I use it all the time, just as like a regular lotion, but it's got a nice creamy consistency and really soaks into it and absorbs into the skin, and it's got a really nice fresh scent too, so highly recommend using that following a shave as well.
A question I sometimes get about the restoring balm is, because it has oil in it, is it occlusive and will it cause acne? And I haven't seen that. It's jojoba oil, which is kind of the closest to our natural sebum, so it gets absorbed really readily. So I haven't seen a lot of acne with that, if anyone's worried about acne.
So we have another question, and I think this one is for Dr. Henry. Are there any tips you may have for someone with dark skin and I'm not sure what that is.
I didn't get the question. It's breaking up a little bit. Repeat the question again.
Any tips you may have for someone with dark skin and hirsutism?
Okay, so hirsutism is having kind of excessive hair growth in areas, especially if it's a woman, in areas that we predominantly think of with men, so testosterone-based areas. Basically, if anyone has hirsutism, I would recommend they see a dermatologist to have a full hormonal workup. We can give you shaving techniques, which I will discuss first, but if we can kind of control your hormonal milieu inside, we can kind of reduce the amount of hair that you're having, so that's key. And whenever you're having hirsutism, we want to make sure that it's not something that's dangerous. So it's not, oftentimes, common things being common, it's benign, but there are a few cases where you could have a tumor or something causing this. So I would recommend that anyone that's experiencing this, especially new onset, make sure that you have it evaluated. Once you have been evaluated and you're fine, then the same techniques that we're discussing, you could use them. I mean, making sure that you're being careful, you're shaving with the grain. If you're having denser hair, which is what we often see with hirsutism, you have to be really careful because you can be more prone to ingrown hairs. So using all the same techniques will help you. There's no reason why with dark skin or with hirsutism you couldn't, and you should do really well.
You agree, Cassie?
Yeah, absolutely.
We have somebody. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, it's interesting because Walker & Company, which is the parent company of Bevel, our goal is to make health and beauty simple for people of color. So Bevel, as our flagship brand, was designed for people of color, designed with more melanized skin in mind. So we definitely think that the product with the foundation for people of color will be suited for that.
Awesome. So somebody didn't have a specific question. They just said chin area. And we've been talking about legs and bikini lines, but that is an area that women often struggle with, how to safely remove the hair from the chin area. I don't know if you have any special tips, Cassidy and Dr. Henry, about the chin area, but feel free to share them.
The only thing I would say, again, with women, we're not used to shaving that area with a weighted razor. So really, again, respect the razor, respect the weight, take your time. That would be my key. And again, as we said before, consistency, consistency, consistency. Because you're shaving it because you don't want the ingrowns, but if you're shaving and not being consistent, there's a higher chance that they can come back.
What we recommend people do before they do their first shave is to map out the grain. So that's truly taking account of the direction in which your hair grows, because everybody is different with the direction in which their hair grows. So taking the time to really figure that out. You can use your finger, you can use the edge of a credit card and sort of apply pressure, and you can feel which way is smooth and which way is rough. And you always want to go in the direction that's smooth. That means that you're going with the grain.
Awesome. Let's see if we have any more questions. I think those are all the questions. We had so much thorough information. Nobody's confused, which is what we like to see. Thanks so much for joining us today and talking about shaving for the ladies. We always talk about the curly hair that we want, but hey, sometimes there's curly hair that we don't want. If you all have anything to add to this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope the information was really helpful. We have a lot of women in the Bevel fam, as we call it, but we would love for you to join us. So getbevel.com is where you can find our shave system products, and would love to see you there. Thanks.
Someone just had a question, just jumped in. Bevel, do you have any video tutorials? Because they were asking about certain areas like ankles. I know those can get rough.
No, we have not done an ankle tutorial, but that's a great idea. So we can.
It's an idea. It's an idea.
It's true, because we see people guys have questions about how to shave around their Adam's apple. The ankle area is tricky. I'd say just really fast, reposition the razor and shave in 1-inch strokes. So, we're typically taught, again, from the commercials, to take one long stroke from your ankle up to your knee. But now that you're going with the grain, it's the other direction, and just take really short, deliberate strokes. And that would be the way to go about it.
Thanks. Dr. Henry, thanks so much for joining us. Do you have anything else to add to this conversation?
I will add, ladies, do not be afraid. I've had many women in my office come in. Maybe they weren't ready to commit to doing something like laser. They've tried everything else, and this was kind of like their last effort, and now they're sold. So it really does work. It takes a bit of commitment, but it's a great product, and I recommend it for my patients all the time.
Awesome. That's great. And Cassie, just remind us again, where can we find these products?
Yeah, it is at getbevel.com. So GETBEVEL.com.
Thanks so much, ladies. This live stream will actually live on our YouTube channel forever, and people can come back and watch it. You can use it to send people when they ask questions, because we've answered a lot of them here. And thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you later.
All right. Thank you.